Aloha. Today I got some pictures of some stuff that I wanted to go through. Last night I skimmed over Barack Obama speaking at the NAACP, and I wanted to do, I was thinking I should do a video on that, but I like sleep on it, so I slept on it, and I woke up like, man, that whole speech that he was giving was it was like watching a movie. It was a bad movie, just disingenuous, it was just silly and ridiculous, and it was an act, and a bad act at that. But the undertone of the whole thing is that it's all part of a movie. That's just like a sub layer of a deeper movie that's being played, another chess game. So that's maybe checkers of a chess game, not even that. But anyway, needless to say, that storyline is part of a bigger storyline. It's all connected. So if we start to separate and kind of like mix things up and let some things kind of fade away if they're not understood or linked into a root system that is grounded in a space beyond sub-layer illusions. If it's not grounded to a root that's there, then that's how we can become subject to artificial whatevers that come in through the system, whatevers that come in through our experience, and just things that throw us off. So basically, how I observe the checkerboard or the chessboard pattern in relating to the fabric of the reality, the baseline, the duality at its flicker rate observation mode, whatever, like ones and zeros, ons and offs, lights and darks, and what those patterns mean in relationship to each other. And it's at its core, it's just a mathematical function. It's basically, at its form, it's part of an existence. It's part of existence. And when it becomes manipulated, just how you can see how you can name people black and white, and then say, okay, now you guys fight or play chess or whatever. But that's forgetting about the fabric of the reality. That's forgetting about the fabric of the entire board, the game, the love of the game, the depth of growth and challenge. And it gets real murky when the control patterns in the one, like for an example, like a patriarchal society, out of balance society, that gets manipulated to start to destroy or take down the woman, the matriarchal side. So taking advantage of And I actually messed up. This is a Rihanna picture that I came across, and so there's obviously the chessboard pattern and the sphere, and so this was an accident. This is actually a picture of the first Matrix movie and how they were running up this pattern, the staircase. This is no doubt. I mean, so once these artists get involved in the system, it's kind of like a give and take, and I'm sure there are rules and all kinds of stuff that's going on, but people are within their art, they try to help share this story and give little signals here and there of what's going on, showing patterns. And then I'm sure some are not really aware of the depths of it, and then some get, you know, caught up with it. It's Amy Winehouse. She's holding the Ace of Hearts. This is actually a Katy Perry, I think, yeah, the recent Super Bowl or something like that. The Super Bowl, Katy Perry. So using these stars, so these stars they invest this energy in these stars, and then they activate these stars with energy and put a number or a label on it, like money, and then we vest our energy into these stars, and they harness this energy, and the stars are tested to share their heart through their art while living on that checkerboard. So this is Adam's family values. So they have access to the energy that they vest in that system, and these movies, these songs, everything is connected. I'm still understanding the depths of it myself, but the patterns are obvious. It's directly linked to magic and activating our own manifestations within our reality. How these flicks, so these are flicker rates. These are like on and off signals, like slowing down a moment. So a flicker rate is like a moment, and it's on and off coding, kind of like a computer, or exactly like a computer would read a moment or express a moment on a screen. So like lenses, eyes as lenses. And when your lenses get, and the fabric of that, the relationship to the fabric of that, the brain, the mind gets caught up in a game that it doesn't know it's playing, then that's when things can get a little off and manipulated, and people, there's in between worlds where there's realities and cartoons, and these are really interdimensional patterns that are being used, and they are playing a music, they're playing an art, they're playing a magic storyline that we live. That was Roger Rabbit, and yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This is Time Bandits, old school. This is earlier. So yeah, you can see like the checkerboard right there on that wall. all these movies are like loaded with these storylines that are all one storyline. So there's like Beetlejuice, Back to the Future, Labyrinth. It's I Pet Goat stuff, but Time Bandits, really heavy duty movie. It goes through a lot of very obvious metaphors, and it's funny too. Like they bring out the heavy duty stuff with funny parts, and they're talking about technology, and they have a devil character in there that's pretty much playing the same kind of character as Lord Business in Lego Movie. So yeah, these storylines get repeated. This is Beetlejuice, and they're in that land. So they're in Beetlejuice's land. Like, he was thrown out. Beetlejuice lives on that place by himself, and they're already dead. So they go to another land, just like he knows about Saturn. He says, "Oh, Saturn," and he talks about sandworms, and they got the whole black and white checkerboard tongue. It's all duality storylines getting put out there subconsciously in our background. So this is Back to the Future. It's in the background back there. It's all about the fabric, fabrics. These are bricks of reality, and they get put out there in front of us, and then we have people dance on them, and they dance for whatever the next storyline is being told. And meanwhile, this is Labyrinth. Babies are walking around, climbing, thinking they're going up when they're actually going down and getting caught up, and other people are trying to help here and there and tell stories. And then here's the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus and Heath Ledger in there telling some deep stories. All kind of Johnny Depp was in that movie. But you can see the fabric again, like the wormhole fabric, or time travel fabric. So these movies are like time travelers, and if you expand time and remove time, these movies, this stuff is gonna last forever. So that their stories will be told regardless of, the time will tell. Exactly, that's what it said. Time, we see a reality for what it is right now because of how our eyes have been trained to see things. But in the future, our eyes will adjust and change, and we can see fabrics differently. Here's Michael Jackson. He's been talking about it forever. Yeah. Blood on the dance floor. Box trolls. All these metaphors in these movies. It's everywhere. Pixar. Yeah, these storylines, they're flicker rates that get put into our subconscious, and then they get activated within what we call needs, with money and all this other stuff. So we need a cake for the first birthday of our baby. Oh, cars. Oh, okay. So we put these symbols on, and then they get put in our bedroom, the kids' bedrooms, and all around us, and we have these patterns triggering awarenesses in our subconscious, and then we activate these spaces or react in our dream states, and even when we're awake. So Cartoon Network is just a big, like, creating another version, like creating, like, so this is two worlds, a cartoon world and the real world. And then so those are two worlds that have been created. They're both been created by people, man, and that was so these are like double layered stories, and it just gets these layers these layers get double layered within our realities, and they get installed so far as to like having a family member be concerned with you, and they try to instill like a fear in order to within you of like, or say like fear of the police or something, to make you act a certain way or think a certain way because of stuff that was invented to make you fearful. So it's like circles and layers of fear that get piled on top of each other. And we inherently share these forms of interactions with our generations down the line, and we're installing fear without even knowing it. We're installing ideas and patterns and symbolism and metaphors. So I'm gonna keep going with this. Till next time, peace, love, and harmony.